Welcome back to Trippy Commentaries and our Week 4 preview for the 2014 NFL season. I'm RJ joining up with K-Mac.
Yo, yo.
Let's go ahead and move on to the Philadelphia Eagles, who are traveling to the San Francisco 49ers brand new stadium. This is one of the most evenly matched games of the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely excited to see this one because Philadelphia's been a really tough team to gauge here. For some of the games, they've looked completely terrible. Then they come out in basically just 1 or 2 quarters and look dominant. I don't know what to make of them right now. This is a hell of a test on the road against San Francisco. I choose San Francisco to win this game, but if they don't, that's code blue for the 49ers.
And I think that's what's going to happen. Something's going on in San Francisco, man. This team's not clicking. They're not playing to what we've seen in the past from them. So I think there's something a little more than what we're seeing on the field is going on in San Francisco. I think it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. Philly, man, I like you said, those 2 quarters where they put it together, that offense has clicked, and it's looked good. Jerry Macklin's looking exceptional right now. And what they proved to me last week against Washington is that, look, we can still win games without even running the ball. I think LaShawn McCoy only had 22 yards rushing last week, so they can get it done. And that's San Francisco's run defense is pretty good. Pass defense, it's so-so. It's not that great. So I still think they can move the ball in the San Francisco defense. And man, the San Francisco offense, they gotta get it together, or it's going to be a rough season.
They are most likely, I think, at least, going to get Vernon Davis back.
That could be big for them.
That's huge. I'm definitely picking San Francisco at home. I mean, this brand new stadium, it's going to be a hell of a home field advantage.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a tough game to pick. So you're going to pick Philadelphia with the 5.5 points.
And that's the other reason why I'm picking Philadelphia is because I feel it's going to be a close game. It's kind of what that's kind of how their season's been so far. Every game's kind of been that way. So I think if San Francisco's able to pull ahead, I think Philly's going to stay there, right there with them. If they do lose, it's got to be within a field goal.
I still like San Francisco's defense a lot here.
Yeah.
Justin Smith looks ridiculously good here. This guy's got old man strength and definitely looks good. Of course, Patrick Willis is doing a good job because he doesn't have Navarro Bowman, where I think Navarro Bowman should have been the Defensive Player of the Year last year, not Luke Kuechly. So that's a tough loss for him. I still like the defense, and I like for them to beat the Eagles there. Kaepernick is having real bad turnovers, but other than that, he's making some good plays. He's using his running game to great effectiveness. If it wasn't for the turnovers, they would be in a much better position right now. If they can beat Philadelphia, I think they'll get right back on the right track.
Yeah, they need to win this. They need to win this game. If you're a San Francisco fan, you got to
That's what I'm thinking.
Really hope that they come through with a victory here.
Yeah, and that's going to be one of the funnest games of the weekend. Atlanta, after doing pretty good last week against the Bucs, they look like Super Bowl contenders now. They're traveling to Minnesota, another very winnable game, and I feel like their offense is going to be on point once again. They should have an easy victory.
I don't see how they're only favored by 3 points. I mean, I think that if
crazy.
I'm looking at this is my most surefire bet that I'm doing this week.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, come on, 3 points. We saw them kill Tampa last week. Minnesota is not doing any better. That whole organization right now is getting turned upside down. Nothing is going right in Minnesota. I just don't see how they only give Atlanta a 3-point favorite. Atlanta's going to come through. They're going to score points, man. This offense is finally getting back to that form. Julio Jones is ridiculous right now. Absolutely torched the Tampa Bay secondary last week. And Matt Ryan, man, this is the old Matt Ryan that was able to bring this team to the playoffs. These guys right now are my early favorites to win this division, and I think they're going to destroy Minnesota.
Yeah, well, the one thing I really like about Minnesota in this game, though, is Teddy Bridgewater. It's a home game for him.
Fun to watch
I'm a Bridgewater fan. I think that he's going to be pretty good, especially because his wide receiver core is very talented. Cordell Patterson's going to be a nice number 1 for him. I mean, the issue here is there's no Adrian Peterson. If there was Adrian Peterson, you probably wouldn't feel too bad about picking Minnesota here, even though Atlanta looked so good last week. But I think even though Teddy Bridgewater is going to give them that nice bump and they're going to come out looking great, Atlanta's still going to take them out because, let's face it, Atlanta looks like one of the best teams in the NFC right now.
Yeah.
Definitely got to take Atlanta with the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean,
that's not too many to go against here.
Minnesota's defense is just not showing up anymore. I mean, the Saints beat them 20-9. I feel the Falcons obviously are a little better than the Saints. right now, so I think it's going to be even worse than that. So that's what I'm saying. The 3 points you got to take that.
Yeah, of course. I can't see too many people taking Minnesota in the 3 points. I'm guessing you have to be a pretty big Teddy Bridgewater fan. But we'll see what he can do in his first start.
I like what I saw from last week, man. Real efficient. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Russell Wilson, man. Not really looking to run the ball, but he will run if he needs to. And, quick decision making. That's kind of what it's all about in the NFL.
The New Orleans Saints, I know you just mentioned them. They have a Sunday Night Football showdown in Dallas, the house that Jerry built. Always crazy to see a game, of course, in prime time in that stadium. This is going to be a freaking ridiculous game here. I think the Saints are going to come to play. Can Dallas come to play to actually keep up with them?
Well, we saw them kind of come to play last week, man. They were able to put up a lot of points in that game. They're going to have to do it against the Saints. I mean, obviously, I think the Saints a little bit of a better defense, than the Rams. Now we saw the Rams start season off good. Obviously, they have a new quarterback that they're having to run with the loss of Bradford. But I thought the Rams looked pretty good, but I still feel the Saints are more of a complete team. So my pick in this one is going with the New Orleans Saints to beat the Cowboys. I think we're going to see the Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham connection happening a lot this week against the Cowboys, a defense that in the past has looked horrible. I think they're playing at a good level right now, but still, I mean, you gave up 31 points to a Rams offense that really has no offense. I mean, Brian Quick is their number one receiver. You got a third-string quarterback starting, and you allowed them to put up 31 points on you. So, Cowboys defense is definitely gonna have to pull it together because you're going against Drew Brees, one of the best in the league.
No doubt. That's going to be a great game, like I said. And I kind of fear for Tony Romo here on the big stage. I definitely see a pick six coming. I think Drew Brees is going to fire it up here. He's going to look to Brandon Cooks and all those wide receivers, including Jimmy Graham, the tight end, to show off.
Yeah, and in Dallas right now, they got some problems with their secondary because Claiborne was actually demoted and actually went AWOL. They didn't know where he was at. Finally came back, realized they made a mistake. Skandrick's the guy starting.
Yeah.
So there's already some red flags getting thrown into that. I got to take the Saints passing game to probably put up good numbers against this kind of fluctuating, teetering on the line of being bad Cowboys secondary.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt they're bad. They do get Skandrick back. We'll see if that helps. It's the one thing you got to look at with Dallas is DeMarco Murray. He does have the potential to take over this game. And we've seen running backs basically single-handedly defeat the Saints in the past. I remember Jamal Charles went off in a game where the Chiefs were down big, but he just kept gashing out huge runs. DeMarco Murray certainly can do the same thing. I'm still going to go with New Orleans, but that scares me from a Saints perspective. The New England Patriots are favored by 3.5 points, traveling to Arrowhead Stadium, which, despite their woes, I think those Chiefs fans are going to be rocking. That's a great stadium,
man. Yeah, for sure.
And it's going to be a good matchup. The Patriots haven't been too impressive. I look for them to defeat the Chiefs, though, who really don't have a whole lot going for them besides Niall Davis, who I think looked pretty good.
Yeah, well, it's just the running game in general. I think they can put pretty much any one of the running backs in there, and they're going to put up yardage. They're going to get some touchdowns, but I just see New England. I feel they're the more complete team. They're going to score when they need to. Kansas City, I'm still trying to figure out this defense. Is it going to show up to play? Because the defense is good, but they just had injuries. They've lost, Derek Johnson for the season, which is a huge blow to them. Eric Berry's kind of been, fighting some Achilles tendon or ankle injury, something he's got going on with his foot.
Yeah.
So that's a lingering injury for him. So they're kind of struggling right now. And New England is good at taking advantages of a team, and they're also good at taking on the other side. Their defense is good at taking away an offensive player. So they know that right now their offense is Niles Davis. They shut down Niles Davis. They shut down this Chiefs running game. They're going to be in some trouble because that's going to make Alex Smith kind of have to get outside of his comfort zone, try to make plays happen, and that's when the interceptions come.
One thing is, though, on Monday Night Football, we know that really anything can happen in these games. One thing is Alex Smith. I remember he looked extremely good against Indianapolis in that playoff game last year. So I know he has it in him. As of so far, they have not been good at all. That offense has been terrible despite the good running back play. They just have nothing at the wide receiver position. Travis Kelce looks pretty good. I think he's going to come on this year and be one of the up-and-coming tight ends in the league.
Yeah.
But the problem is, with the defense that's not stopping anything right now, and they're not going to because the injuries have decimated them, they're going to need their offense to be productive. Their running back definitely gives them a shot, but in this game against New England, this is certainly an upset special waiting to happen. If New England loses this, you're going to have all kinds of panic up there in that area. Of course, next to Boston in the New England states. I still think they're going to pull it off, though. Definitely a game to be worried about if you're a Patriots fan. What are you thinking here, Kyle? Do you think there's any way the Chiefs pull the upset? And if they do, how would they possibly do it?
The reason Patriots usually lose games is because they have fumbles. Their running backs fumble the ball. They get turnovers. Brady throws an interception at a bad time. That's usually how New England loses games. Their coaching staff is so good. This team has a game plan every week that is probably going to win a game for them as long as they don't turn the ball over. So, we saw in the Dolphins game, beginning of the season, they lost that game. They had turnovers. As long as New England doesn't have turnovers, I don't see any way that the Chiefs are going to be able to beat them. Because, like I said, they're going to have to rely on their offense to put up yardage and points to match the Patriots' offense. I don't think it can happen. They don't have the weapons to do it. And Alex Smith is not the quarterback that you want to depend on to make those big plays. He's the guy that's going to control the ball, make sure he doesn't turn it over, run if he has to, get 10 yards here or there. And that's your Alex Smith. Let your defense win the games for you, run the ball. And that's how they can win a game. But I just don't see them being able to pull that off unless they can get some turnovers. If New England turns over the ball, and they're have a hard time winning that game.
Yeah, that's for sure. Stephen Ridley's probably going to be the starter in that game.
Known to fumble.
He hasn't fumbled in a while, but this would be terrible timing if he does. Thank you guys for joining us here for our Week 4 preview and predictions. Make sure to drop us any comments. Of course, if you're thinking of anything when it comes to Week 4, I know we have Arizona, Seattle, and Denver on bye. Cincinnati as well. I mean, these teams are extremely good. They get a chance to rest and kind of sit back. It seems a little bit early, especially for teams that are so good. But we'll see what happens when they come off bye next week, especially for the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm really looking at them as possibly the Super Bowl favorite, even over Denver and Seattle. They've looked ridiculously good. So special shout out to them.
At AFC, man, AFC playoffs are going to be pretty crazy this year. I can't wait for it because just the amount of teams that this AFC has that are those 4 teams right now in the AFC that I feel could all be in the Super Bowl. So
absolutely,
it's pretty crazy. The NFC's there's a few teams that are kind of taking off in that race, but
yeah, pretty much Seattle's got to be the favorite by far. You would think in the NFC.
Don't overlook the other team in that division.
Who's that?
Doing pretty damn good right now. A lot of people
about Arizona.
About
It can't be San Francisco with their issues.
Nope.
Man, it sure as hell ain't the Rams.
No, but yeah, the Cardinals, man. I like what Bruce Arians is doing there, and so we'll see what happens in that division.
Yeah, thanks again, guys. Make sure to enjoy the weekend. Have a great time watching football. It's the best time of year, and hopefully your team is doing better than ours. So we live here in the Tampa Bay area, and we know the season's over when it comes to the Buccaneers.
True fans come out during these seasons.
With the first pick in the 2015 draft, the Buccaneers pick maybe Marcus Mariota. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. We'll see you guys next week for our Week 5 preview and predictions. Stay trippy.